Okay, hi everybody. Thank you all for coming. A special thanks to Senators Murray, Reid, Murphy for joining us. So, this morning, Leader McConnell and I welcomed President Zelensky to the Senate, his third visit to the Capitol, in a meeting like no other. He was extremely persuasive. This is a moment we must meet. If Ukraine falls, it will be a historic, colossal tragedy. Historians will look back on this, not 2 weeks from now, but years from now, and say this was one of the turning points where Western civilization took a dramatic turn downward, where the U.S. abandoned its ally. It's just awful. And how our Republican friends who care so much about Ukraine are not being serious about this right now is appalling to me. My Republican colleagues know very well that Ukraine's fate is inexorably linked to our national security. So if you had to pick words, the word for Republicans is they have to be serious. Serious means negotiating in good faith. We're willing to meet them in the middle. They haven't moved away from H.R. 2. Serious means not saying we're going to go home when there's an emergency. They say it's an emergency at both the border and in Ukraine. You don't go home for 3 weeks. You don't say we can put it off 3 weeks if it's an emergency. And so hopefully our words are we're still trying. We are trying very, very hard to get this done. At 3 o'clock, there will be a meeting with Senator Lankford, Senator Sinema, and Murphy, who's here today and can talk about it, with people from the White House, Secretary Mayorkas, and top people from my office and Senator McConnell's office. And we are still trying to get something done at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Last night, I spoke with Speaker Johnson. As I said, I spoke with Speaker Johnson and urged him to keep the House in session a little longer to give the supplemental a chance to come together. I told him this because over the past 24 hours, I've been alarmed to see some of the same Republicans who demand action at the border because it's an emergency say that we should leave and come back 3 weeks from now, suggesting there's no urgency to act before Christmas, contradicting their own words. After months of saying the border's a crisis, that we must get something done yesterday, too many Republicans, many in the House and now a good number in the Senate, seem to prefer to go home than pass a bill. If Republicans are serious about getting something done on the border, then why are so many of them in a hurry to leave for the winter break? Has borders simply been an excuse to kill funding for Ukraine? Democrats are asking themselves that question. Right now, as all this happens, Russian state TV is running segments bragging about how wonderful it is that Republicans are abandoning Ukraine. We are still committed to finding realistic bipartisan agreements on the southern border, and I hope my Republican colleagues take to heart President Zelensky's warnings. The only people happy right now about the gridlock in Congress are Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, who unfortunately somehow are allies. Putin is delighting in the fact that Donald Trump's border policies are sabotaging military aid to Ukraine. I urge my Republican colleagues to show they're serious about getting a supplemental package done. Democrats are still trying. We'll continue to work with Republicans in the coming days in good faith. Now, as we work on the supplemental, we have a lot of other things to do. Later today, the Senate will move forward on the NDAA under Senator Reid's leadership, and he'll talk about it. The Senate has worked tirelessly to get it over the finish line, and I applaud my colleagues on both sides of the aisle for doing it, working together to get this done. And the bill contains many of the policies that we in the Senate passed this summer. As you know, cloture passed 82 to 15. So, as I said repeatedly, we begin the month of December with 3 major goals here in the Senate before the end of the year. First, we had to end the unprecedented and months-long blockade of hundreds of military nominees. We've done that. Second, we need to pass the NDAA, as we have for decades on a bipartisan basis. We're on track to do that. And finally, most difficult of all, we must reach an agreement on national security supplemental. We hope our Republican colleagues are serious about getting something done there, too. We're still ready to work. Senator Murray.